Joining us now, live in studio, Fox and Friends weekend co-host, the fabulous Southside Virginian, Charlie Hurt. Charlie, good to see you.
Go Southside.
Yeah, exactly. I just want President Trump to and all the Republicans to throw the hammer down on all these terrorist-loving, left-wing loser universities. And I mean, raising the taxes from 1.4%, I don't know, 6%, 10%, sky's the limit on their endowments.
Amen.
And also, how about if you really want to stick it to them, is you revoke or restrict a university's ability to sponsor visas for their foreign students, which the Department of Homeland Security or ICE can easily do, because that's where their money is. And that's why they tolerate these terrorist sympathizers and these pro-Hamas protesters, is because money, honey.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, and it's so funny, you know, the previous administration spent so much time talking about student loans and people like suffering under the burden of student loans. Well, what about the universities? What about these universities? They're the ones that are charging these horrifying prices for these non-educations. I agree. The whole $400 million number still just like blows me away. Where's Doge? I want Doge to go after the $400 million. Faculty, their response to this is, well, you know, we can't submit to the administration because we care about diversity of opinion and free speech and all this kind of stuff. It's like, are you kidding me? As soon as any of you people get tenure, all free speech, all diversity of opinion goes out the window, and they all march in lockstep now in favor of Hamas.
Yeah, it's the only form of free speech that they seem to actually support, which is like lawless Hamas mobs.
Yeah.
That's the one area.
And that's not the way these places
actually
used to be.
No.
It's kind of strange.
One of the requirements from the Trump administration as a rule here to be followed just to get them to the table to talk about getting the money back is banning face coverings, masks. This seems like such an obvious thing to have done all along because, look, if you want to protest peacefully, you can do that. You have a right to do that in this country. If you want to engage in civil disobedience, part of the civil disobedience ethic is accountability. But hiding behind a mask is trying to have it all ways, and it has bred more of this chaos and criminality. And it's like, it seems like this should have been something the school cracked down on a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. Long about like maybe a year into COVID, we realized where these masks were going. It doesn't work. You can't have a campus where you have free speech and people, protesting, do whatever they want to do, and masks. It has nothing to do with health or safety. It all has to do with concealing their faces, just like the KKK. And the idea that these campuses, these universities allow kids to walk around with their faces covered is appalling.
And allow them to terrorize janitors.
Yeah. If I had a store in wherever, that I would have, long about 2022, I would have put up a sign that said, if you come in here, you're taking your mask off. You're not allowed in my store with a mask on.
Yeah, but conservatives were the Nazis and all this?
Right, exactly.
Please. Moving on to this, the Democrats suck so horribly and so loudly that the Bidens won't back in. They want to come in and help, Charlie. This is a report. I don't know how they can or want to, but this is where we are, or they are.
Yeah, well, grifters got to grift. They're like, they've run out of runway. They need to get back into the business, the family business, which has always been using the government for their own welfare. I do think, Republicans kind of went through this whole thing with the Tea Party movement long before, there lots of division. It was very painful. Democrats managed to paper over it for years because they had Barack Obama was very popular within the Democratic Party. He probably won over some middle of the road people. But it really did manage to sort of paper over what were real deep problems, and we're seeing them now. And I don't see any easy way for them to get out of it. They're going to go through a very long, Tea Party-like march before they come out of it, and whether and they're wrong on the ideas. And quite frankly, I don't know that they have any sensible people, leaders, who are able to lead them out of the wilderness.
Well, and the fact that it's the Bidens coming back saying, hey, we're here to help, I think a lot of Democrats say, you've helped quite enough. Thank you very much. And I saw earlier today on Outnumbered, we were talking about this. And one of the theories was this has Jill Biden written all over it. Joe Biden probably doesn't want to do anything, but she wants back into the game, back into the spotlight. Does that ring a bell to you? Does that make sense?
You call her Jill Biden. I call her AutoPen. And she's been, I imagine, running...
That's Dr. AutoPen. Yes.
Excuse me, Dr. AutoPen. She's been, and I love all of these, and I love the infighting with the Democrats, because it really does, when you look at the popularity of the party among Democrats, it has absolutely tanked. And they have nobody to blame but themselves, starting with these two right here.
Jill wants to get away from Hunter. That's what the root of this is. Now, to this.
Wouldn't you?
The Democrats' total lack of decorum on display once again, already struggling with poor messaging. They faced a fiery rebuke from a preacher, Charlie, a reverend, as a Medicaid-focused town hall turned into a soapbox for the likes of, well, that guy.
I was told that this was going to be a town hall meeting about Medicaid and not a stump speech for the Democratic Party. And I am upset about that right now, and I hope that this goes back to a discussion about Medicaid, because this is not a partisan place. Do you understand?
Hey, I was pointing at Jamie Raskin.
Yeah. That's how deep this goes, and it's a real problem. And when people like that start to realize that the professional Democrat Party is all about the power of the Democrat Party, and they don't actually care about those issues that affect regular voters, you don't win that credibility back easily, or maybe at all. And again, they're in the wilderness, and it's going to be, they have got a long road to hoe, and I don't see anybody capable of pulling them together and recognizing the important issues that gets them back on track.
Charlie Hurt, thank you so much.
Great to see you.
Great to see you.